Hello, everyone. On behalf of the Student Service Design Challenge, I would like to welcome you to this winners announcement ceremony, live from Barcelona during the Barcelona Design Week. And to be honest, we are sitting here in a cold space, but it's very warm outside. And talking about the space, we are guests at the Rocca Gallery. And before we get started, I would like to introduce you to Isabel.
Thank you, Inge. Good morning and welcome to the Barcelona Design Week, and also welcome to this fantastic space, which is the Rocca Gallery. Fantastic place for these design talks in any way. We are very happy to host this Service Design Challenge for the second time. It's a pity that we are online again, but I hope that next year for the third edition we can be here in presence and celebrate all together. We have a topic this year at the Barcelona Design Week, which is why findings, and it means because we are living in a very complex scenario, and we need to find we need guidelines to find how we can set the present for the future. To help us to prepare for the future, the youngers are the best, and design, of course, through design, but the youngest are the best who can help us. This year also is the European Year of the Young People in Europe, so the Design Week has taken care of this, and some of our activities are precisely dedicated with the youngers as the ones who are taking the role. So this event is perfectly matching with the topic of the Design Week, and you have an amazing jury. You have a fantastic jury with Anna Baltonen. Last week we had here a global design talks, also from the Rocca Gallery online. John Thakara, Simona from Philips Design, also Daniel from IKEA. This year we had an activity also with IKEA Spain, and together with the Madrid Design Festival and the Valencia World Design Capital. And it's a project about next generation seniors. So we had made a research. We present the project in Madrid. Here in Barcelona, students from schools from the three cities and professionals are thinking about proposals. We had a fantastic IKEA house in front of the Design Hub here in Barcelona, where people can enter and give opinions about how cities can change for the next generation, which is for the seniors, and we will present the results in Valencia. So we are happy also to have IKEA in the jury, Alice from Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and Billy from IBM. So you have a fantastic and amazing jury.
Thank you.
So good luck to all the winners that will be announced today, and good luck for the session, and thank you for having this session again during Barcelona Design Week.
Thank you, thank you. All right, before we get started, I would like to explain you a bit what the challenge is all about. It's like what Isabel said. So we are celebrating, inspiring and encouraging a next generation of designers. And the challenge is for students to join, from all around the globe, and it's actually initiated by Philips 3 years ago, and as part of their mission to involve young designers in designing services or service solutions for the challenges that we are facing. And so this is what Isabel says, right? It's with them being our how do you say it? Our eyes and ears, and helping us and encouraging us in designing better, inspiring and exciting services. We can focus on the future, and this is what the challenge is all about. So it's designing a human-centered, future-proof, future-centered service for people and the planet. But besides Philips, there is a co-organizing team. We are a partner of five partners. So it's also IKEA, and like Isabel said, it's the Service Design College, it's IBM, and the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And together we believe that all these young designers need to use their creative power and challenge the status quo and us, and encourage businesses and organizations to to maybe change or shift the mindset in more conscious thinking and future-proof thinking. And with this inclusive service design approach, we hope to be able to design these exciting services for individuals, for groups, for communities, for cities, for society, and of course for the planet. And but having said that, maybe it's good to explain you that this year's challenge, every year the challenge has a different theme or topic. And this year it's all about designing or disrupting, designing a services that disrupting the current ownership economy. So we started last January and we welcomed over 90 design teams from around the globe who were committed and encouraged to design a service that disrupt this ownership economy. And in the past 5 months, 28 of them, so there was a bit of a selection process at the end of January, so 28 of them, they were guided and coached by our coaches and by individual teachers throughout a process, an innovation process that took them 5 months through research, ideation, prototyping, and of course coming up with this exciting service concept. But perhaps it's good to tell you that if you look at those teams, they have a mix of cultures and study backgrounds. So they're not only service designers. So it's a long list, but what I know is, for instance, they study interaction design, experience design, design management, but also engineering or communication or business, right? So it has been a mixture if you look at their studies. And you can also see that if you look at the outcome. So the jury had a very hard time because those 28 concepts all try to tackle an issue, and that, for instance, was related with waste, with food, with water, with fashion, with furniture, with well, a lot of other things. So you can imagine with these flavors, or you know, this different this variety of tackling problems, it makes it hard for a jury to come up with the winners. But the good thing is that I think within maybe 20-30 minutes we will announce the winners. Before doing so, what I will do is I will introduce 2 representatives of those 5 organizing partners. And I would like to ask both of them what their impression on, for instance, the concepts that they saw, because perhaps it could tell you that the submissions of the students is not only, for instance, a video in which they explain the concept, but it's also a business model canvas, it's a service blueprint, very in detail. It's an explanation on paper, and many of them also made a prototype already. So if you look at what the jury members and also those 2 representatives saw, was quite a lot, right? So, but let me ask them both their impression on those submissions of this year, and let me first welcome Jon Rodríguez. He is the director of service design at Philips. And he has been joining us from the very first edition. And he is giving classes to the students on service design to help them understand what service design is all about. So Jon, perhaps you can share with me your impression on what you saw.
Yeah, thank you, Inge. And indeed, just want to mention that yeah, we have been collaborating for 3 years. And actually, we also created the service design team in Philips 3 years ago. So we have been kind of growing pressure for us. So we have service design within our own organization, but of course, having 90 global design teams around the world, yeah, with a very relevant challenge, it allows us to kind of benchmark how we are doing, right? It kind of gives us the reality check of are we still using the tools, the methods, the capabilities and especially all of them coming from different universities, it gives a really good picture of what is service design today. And I think on the concepts, I was really impressed with not only the ideas itself, but the depth of the ideas and how they were really able to connect with their local communities or their local context, and translate that with ideas that are not only like good ideas, but really understand the nuances of the local context. And we'll talk about the winners later, but I think those elements have been really well articulated in a lot of the ideas that we have seen.
Thank you, thank you. It's nice to hear that the young ones are an example for the elder ones, right? And that we can learn from each other. So let me, thank you, Jon. Let me go to Kiki Muurbach, and she is the initiative leader of circular innovation at IKEA. And I also have the same question for you, Kiki.
Yeah, thanks, Inge. I actually think that maybe Jon here said most of it. Exactly the same feeling. I'm super impressed by what the students have actually been doing during this time. Also, the width and the depth of how far they go into it, and also, like you mentioned, they've gone from really physical to digital prototypes and so on. And I really think for IKEA, it's also to quote Jon on that, it's really a temperature check on what is out there, what is service design today, how is it spread over, like you said, students coming from art, engineering, design, and so on. So just being here for the first time, super impressed by everything, really amazing. And also on a personal level, feeling a bit rusty, having it's a long time ago since I graduated, still working with business and service design. So it's been really nice to come close to the young ones, and I've really learned some fantastic stuff that I, of course, intend to use in my professional life. So it's been very valuable for IKEA to see this.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We see Jon and Kiki later on back when they are interviewing the winners. And what I forgot is that, of course, if you look at those 90 design teams, the student teams, and later on the 28, they really come from everywhere, right? This is what Kiki says, that if you look at cultures and backgrounds and the local challenges that they researched, for instance, they come from India to, I'm just thinking about a few countries. So India, Canada, Finland, Chile, right? And so it's what they both say. It's finding out what is going on, what kind of challenges, local challenges are there. And one of the criteria, if you look at where the concepts are, the jury is looking at the concept from different angles. And one of them is, for instance, also if this local challenge is something that is also found elsewhere, right? And if you look from a business point of view, can it be scaled if you look at the service, right? If it starts locally, which is very nice, but maybe it starts with a city and then it's the country, or maybe it's even larger. Right, so this is one of the criteria that the jury looked at, used to look at the concepts. But talking about the jury, I would like to introduce them. So let me tell you who they are. So there are 6 experts, all with a different background, and so we have John Takara, professor, author, and curator. We have Anna Valtonen, professor in strategic design at Aalto University. Daniel Haltia, circular business designer at IKEA. We have Simone Rocchi, senior director of design for sustainability and innovation at Philips. Billy Seabrook is vice president and global chief design officer at IBM iX. And last but not least, Alice Baudreau, the global partners manager at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And here they are. Welcome, jury. Good to see you. What I did is to introduce you to the audience. What I did is I wrote down a few questions based on what I saw, if you look at the concept, but also linked, for instance, with the topic of this year's challenge. What I would like to do is ask one of you a question, and I would love to hear your answer on those questions. Let me start with Jon. If you look at Jon, I know that you are also giving classes to the students, so they have already met you throughout the challenge, and what you did is you told them about grassroots and community-based impact, right? Because if you look at this challenge, which is disrupting the ownership economy, what we want to do is, of course, make a shift, right? A shift towards a collaborative way of consumption, for instance. And right, and it's with that I believe your class was very inspiring for the students. But let me, if you know that you have seen the concept, how relevant is a grassroots approach to building effective people-centric services, and how do you think the teams did in this regard?
Well, my job as a writer and curator is to track real-world examples of what a sustainable world is going to be like. So in that sense, it was extremely inspiring to see how quickly the sort of ground is shifting in the design student world. You use the word grassroots innovation. What is fantastic to me is that the word grassroots is no longer just a metaphor, that many of the teams looked at the actual physical spaces of their story, not just as a kind of blank sheet of paper, but places with unique qualities. And that is an important part of how we make the transition from abstract services to place-based services, which I think is key to the sustainability question. In many cases, they went ahead of the brief. They didn't just talk about people-centered or human-centered. They talked about and designed all of life, not just human life. And that to me was very gratifying and happy-making, because that's one of the places we need to end up. We're being overtaken by the next generation in that respect. When they look at all of life and not just human life as the kind of core value of what they're working on, this unavoidably brings them into contact with social and ecological aspects. So that's another aspect in which these projects do in practice what many of the theoreticians and advocates have talked about for many years. That is, you can't have sustainability without the social and the ecological. In these service concepts, you see that happening in the real world. So yeah, it's been a very, very reassuring and inspiring experience to meet them all.
Thank you. Good to hear. Good to hear. Talking about this ownership and collaborative way of thinking, I would like to ask Simona. So if you look at really disrupting or doing things differently and looking at the ownership economy, how would you say, what did you saw if you look at the concepts and you saw the videos and reading all the materials?
Thanks, Inge, for the question. Hello, everyone. Indeed, looking at this year's submission, I would say that the majority of the concepts they were really spot on in addressing the design brief. I was super impressed because independently by the content that they were bringing forward, if they were sharing resources, assets, knowledge, time, I noticed they were quite united in two common denominators. First of all, they were really challenging the traditional business model and the linear value chain that are typical of the industrial economy. Production, consumption, or making and buy. In particular, they were challenging, this long value chain where you have the supplier, the producer, the wholesaler, the retailer, at the end, the end user. Right? And they were trying really to bring forward more collaborative bottom-up approaches were proposing more kind of flat value network. And in particular, I was impressed that we're really trying to visualize it, to communicate a more kind of distribution of these benefits, you know, on the all different stakeholders of this value network. This for me was definitely a plus. The understanding and the transparency of these benefits are more equally distributed in the value co-creation process. And this was one of the ways really that the majority of the concepts were trying to challenge the ownership economy. And the fact that in this kind of more traditional approaches, usually there is a big player that win all, right? One or two more powerful stakeholders that get the majority of the benefit in the transaction. One. Second, I think it's something was already shared or already said. I was very impressed on the fact, even if all the concepts were addressing kind of global challenges, also highlighted by the SDG, we really tried to underpin the understanding of these challenges, of this issue in the local context, in their local reality. Really a deep understanding of the way of living, the way of interacting of people, the way that they were confronted with this issue on the ground. And we're trying to find a new way to regenerate, to boost or generate more local entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship that has been highly impacted in the crisis brought by the COVID. And this is essential, this local approach, not only also to contain more the environmental footprint, the environmental impact, but also, like Jon pointed out, also is essential to regenerate also the local social fabric. You cannot address an environmental challenge if you don't also consider the people that are facing this challenge, and the social fabric that is fundamental to resolve this challenge. For me, this was really impressive how the team were really deep diving in both perspectives, in particular to try to create more equitable development that for me is the key pillar of the shared economy.
Thank you. I follow you there. Yeah. Daniel, let me ask you a question. And I know in your practice, working on circular design and circular business design, I can imagine that changing the mindsets and engaging stakeholders in new ways of behavior, I can imagine that's not easy, right? So if you look at the teams, how successful do you think the teams were in proposing new experiences that inspire users to come together, do a better job from that point of view?
Excuse me. Thank you, Inge, for the question, and thank you for being here. So nice to be part of this jury work, and it's, as everyone says, it's very impressive to see what they're doing. Working with the IKEA's transition to go from a linear to become more circular, we learned very early also that it is about to start with humans and put them in the center, but then it has to go beyond that, as Jon said as well. But once you understand humans' perspective, you can also start taking in so many more perspectives. And I think that is also leading to that you move on interactions between one individual and one service, for example, but you rather look at the collective of humans interacting with the service maybe together. And that's what I feel like we've seen a lot here, that is collaborative thinking, that there's no longer, as you said it, Simona, around that one company does everything, but it's rather a collective that needs to deliver it together to gain the values that they're trying to achieve. And I really think that what we've seen in this competition is that the students have really understood that, and they also represent themselves, I think, as you said earlier, that they are representing themselves in that, and we can already see from their work that they already think in these ways, and therefore they also are able to challenge maybe the way you could say that some of our old businesses are coming from, and therefore also need to be challenged and changed towards if we're going to reach also this living within one planet. So I really enjoyed it, and I think they come very far, and I think they grounded very well in the values of their offers. Because if you're going to disrupt the current system, you need to be super strong in understanding the value beyond the, just the service itself, but what is the real human value? What is the real planet value? And what is maybe the connected value together with others that you gain to participate in this new way? So super impressed. And as Kiki said before, we take a lot with us as well back to IKEA to build on.
Good to hear, thanks. I think talking about circularity, it's good to go to Alice. Alice, so what we have seen in every edition, and you have been involved before, is up to now is a real interest from students to design those services that really contribute to a better world, right, a better planet. And knowing there's still a lot of ground to cover, how hopeful is their focus and advocacy for the future of sustainability and circularity?
Yeah, question. I'm really having touch with senior now. I think the work I'm very but it's really important that we are going in the direction, and those people are questioning where we are going right now, also the right spaces we have.
Alice, wait, I think we don't hear you well. Alice, I'm not sure we hear you well. So let me go to another jury member, and then let's see if your connection can get better. I'm not sure what it is, so let me find it out. And let me go to Billy. I see Billy on screen, so let me go to Billy. So Billy, what I wanted to ask you is, so if you look at the students, of course they're all digitally native, right? And this brings probably the technology for them is very easy or even logical to put and make part of the service, right? To make the service easy to access efficiently or whatsoever. And so when you consider the winning concepts and how well, and well I mean responsible, fair, inclusive, have you seen is the technology used in the service concept?
Yeah, I think you said it well. You know, given the fact that all the students are very digital native, at heart, the use of technology and systems thinking as a whole was present across all the ideas, especially great uses of mobile commerce and social media platforms that have become, we're so accustomed to using as consumers today. So all of that was very present, and to your point, I think it was done through the lens of equitable experiences and accessible experiences. So I noticed across a lot of the prototypes that there's a real eye towards simplicity in the user experience and user interfaces, so that all walks of life could participate. My one bit of advice, perhaps, to the students moving forward is to focus even more on what I would say that are the invisible data management, marketing, AI technologies that are sort of behind the scenes, and that can include technologies like IoT or blockchain that the businesses really rely on to drive those backstage operations. So it's great to have the consumer-facing marketplaces and mobile interfaces, but it's those background technologies that and those cloud-based technologies that ultimately enable those great customer experiences. So as they continue to progress in their studies, start to look behind the scenes a little bit more, because some of those technologies are really changing the world, and we need to focus on them, because that's where a lot of the sustainability actually lies, in how those cloud platforms are being used and scaled.
All right. I can imagine that, especially all the technology in the backstage is difficult to understand, right, to grasp. And and talking about that, let me go to Anna, because of course knowledge comes with study, right? Comes with joining and following a study. So I'm not sure if those technology elements are already taught. But I wanted to ask Anna. So Anna, if you look at this challenge, right, which is an experience by itself, and the students are following that on top of their study. very practice-based, right? Diving into a real situation. Well, what would you say is the value of that? And are we doing a good job in that sense?
Thank you. I think there's a lot of value in it, but I think I would specifically lift 3 points which I think are extremely valuable, at least out of my point of view, and I hope at least for the students as well. So I think the first one is, of course, that this is a really unique project which you've done from the very beginning to the end, the whole path of it, which is a great, experience, but it's also, I think, great results. So it will be something that you carry with you going out of this competition. But I'd say that equally importantly, there's at least 2 more things that I would note. And one is that usually when you study, very often you get feedback from people close to you, from people who are from within the same organization with a similar cultural background, with a similar setup. And this is actually a unique opportunity to get the feedback, not only from the companies that participate, but from excellent mentors, from peers, different kind of viewpoints into your own work. And even a jury, in a sense, they're a feedback of someone who you did not know, who you did not expect. How is your work perceived by other people than those within your own community? I think that's quite an important takeaway to take from these. But then for me, maybe the last and most important one, I hope that the students can take as a takeaway from this is really, it's a unique chance to have 90 global teams actually working on the same challenges. How are other people solving the issues that I solved in one way? And I'm really hoping that this can become a community as well, so that you can at least, not only learn from your peers, but hopefully keep in touch with them and to really get a global network of different ways of solving challenges, which you solved in one way, but I don't think there is, one single right way. So I'm hoping that it's really going to be a broadening, sort of mindset broadening experience in addition to the brilliant work experience and the great results you've done.
Well, this is a good idea. So I would love to be involved and make that happen, and to let the students find each other and keep finding each other throughout their process in their career steps.
Imagine if you find like-minded people all around the globe.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And learn from each other, right? You challenge each other as well. So it's and even can share data or insights, right? It's something that helps you. Yeah. All right. Let us try to go back to Alice. And Alice, if we look at circularity, I ask you about circularity, and what could you share? Could you share your thoughts with us?
Yes, I'm sorry for the technical glitch, as I'm at another event in Rome right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all good.
Excellent. So I apologize for the background noise. Actually, it's a very interesting kind of timing, because at this event, I was actually meeting with many different corporations and companies, startups, but also bigger groups who are also on their own transformation journey. But obviously for them, most of them are starting from a linear perspective, which as a circular enthusiast and kind of experts, I very much kind of always challenge them to transform as quickly as they can into a circular world and way of doing things. But transformation is kind of a challenge and can take a lot of time and efforts. And I think what we saw in the competition from the students is really very much what seems to be a much more kind of natural, in a way, circular mindset. A lot of the teams had a very a natural way of looking at the world in a very different manner than usual business do, and of incorporating the community aspect, which I think many of the other jury members mentioned, which I think for me is also always something quite new and really unexpected, and a great way of looking at a new way of doing business. And I think in that regard, it's a very challenge that the students are kind of giving back to us, the jury member, or giving back to me, for sure. But I think really the fit with the circular economy is really strong, and a lot of the teams had a very advanced way of looking at it. So it's making me very hopeful, and it also helped me in my role, bringing those ideas and those kind of provocations from the team member and the students back to the discussion I can have with, again, more established corporate people, to really tell them you have to be ready for these new students to join your companies, for example, or to join your economical world. You have to be ready to embrace their vision of the world and their vision of the new economy that they are building. So I think it makes me very hopeful participating in this kind of competition and seeing the result of the competitors. And I do want to add that I'm very fortunate that it was my second year as a jury member for this competition. And I think from last year, I really saw a lot of added maybe attention in the business service design aspect of the competition. And a lot of the teams had a very well-detailed business model canvas. They had to really put a lot of thought into the relationship and the way that the partnership could work differently and how economic flows could work differently between those different stakeholders. And I think, again, this is a really strong improvement into making this new world and new vision into reality.
I agree with you, and it's good to hear, because I remember that at some point, I'm not sure, it was one of the first sessions that we had, that one of the teams asked us, but what is the ownership economy, right? So they are already one step or maybe a few steps ahead. This is so funny, right? So they're already thinking in the way that we, the elderly, or the previous generations, should follow. And so I was positively surprised about that. So I follow you on that. All right. Then let me thank you, jury, for your contributions and the hard work that you did. I know it was quite hard to select the winners, but let's go to the winners' announcement. And before, and I think John or Kiki maybe also said it, so before we start the winners announcement, I want to say to all the 28 teams, we consider you a winner, right? The jury had a hard time looking at the concept, and what you heard from the jury members, they all thought there was something so much interesting and so much, insightful for them and for us, right? So if you look at the 28 student the design teams, you're all winners. Remember, we started with 90 teams in January, and this is the final one. You went through those five phases of research, ideation, prototyping. You did it. On top of your work and your not your work, but your busy schedule, your study schedule, and you challenged that, and you submitted your concept. So thank you for that. Congratulate yourself. Be proud. But of course, there were a few that stood out, and this is what we're going to announce. So the jury members, a few of those jury members, will start announcing the winners. And what we do is we start with a few honorable mentions. And this is because when the jury had a discussion about the concept, some of the concepts stood out on a specific topic, and for instance, a specific criterion. And because we used a list of criteria, for instance, human centricity, focus on society, technology, on business viability, and circularity. And so we have a few honorable mentions that a few jury members will share with you. They stood out, and the jury member will explain why and how they stood out. So let me start with, let me see who's going first. This is Daniel. And I would like to ask Daniel to start with the first honorable mention. Daniel.
Thank you, Inge. I hope you can all hear me well again. And thank you also to mention that. That's been a really difficult work to be part of this journey to find the winners. As you said, Inge, all of you have been amazing in your work here. So thank you for all the hard work you put in there. But we have some honorable mention, and the first one that I like to announce is one of the teams that managed really to look at inclusiveness, so giving everyone a fair chance to study and have a place to study and make it a home. So the first honorable mention goes to Team Synergy from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, School of Design in India. And the statement that we have written for this mention goes as follows. Looking at the ability for students to have the equal opportunity to create a place for feeling home during studies in a more circular way. Team Synergy looked at the problem for both vulnerable student situations in India and the ways that it's generated, which could be offered in a more circular way. including many of the stakeholders throughout the journey and looking at the competitors to design a unique value proposition to evolve behaviors to act more sustainably. So congratulations, Team Synergy.
Congratulations, team. And I believe, Daniel, you have one other honorable mention to share with us.
Yes, there's one more. And here we also thought that there was a uniqueness in the way how they looked at highly educated people and how to support them, because they also struggle with the ability to act more sustainably. So the second honorable mention goes to Team Cooley from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University School of Design. And the statement goes as follows. In the city of Hong Kong, with a very strong economy and level of educational people, they still throw away fully functional furniture. We want, therefore, mention Team Cooley for really having pinpointed a very accurate circular problem, presenting a platform solution for passing on with an emotional touch to it, as well as utilizing the growing interest for upscaling workshops as part of the business model. With their great work, Team Cooley are onto something that has a huge potential, increasing the circular mindset in Hong Kong through actions positive for the planet. So congratulations, Team Cooley.
Congratulations, Team Cooley. Well done. Well done. By the way, what we will do later on next week is that, of course, because perhaps something, it goes a bit too fast, what we will do is on our website and also via LinkedIn, we will dive deeper into all those concepts, right? So the honorable mentions and the winners, and you will have a look at it. You can watch the videos, but for now we want to focus on the jury statement, but you have a possibility to get to know them further on. So let me go to Billy. Billy, I would like you to go to another honorable mention.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have three to announce, so I'm happy to do that. The first one, I'm pleased to announce that Team Return gets an honorable mention for their idea, RECO. And it's great. They tackled the environmental impact of e-retail returns, so e-commerce returns, by focusing on this notion of livable proximity, the coincidence of needs, and leveraging local retailers and distribution centers in a very creative way. And they turn that last mile distribution system, which is usually considered like a weakness in e-retail, into a very sort of a value creation opportunity, which was very imaginative. So the jury was particularly impressed by the execution of the idea, actually thinking through all the different stages of the concept, the prototypes, and all the detail and thoughtfulness that went into the actual business model itself. So congratulations, Team Return, for your project of RECO. The next one from the CMU team, or Team Wasted, they also deserve special recognition for their idea, RECO-WA, for using the principles of service design to orchestrate a very complex and scalable value exchange between a diverse set of B2B ecosystem partners. So everyone around the value chain, from producers to diverters to transformers and haulers. And they figured out a way to sort of let them all work together in a sort of a win-win sort of ecosystem model. So the jury loved the platform, the RECO-WA platform concept and demo, because it showcased how user-centered design and systems thinking, connected through technology, can really help companies do well by doing good. So it truly is sort of a way that all businesses should start thinking about their ecosystem partners and how they can sort of collectively drive sustainability. So congratulations, Team Wasted.
Congratulations.
And then
the third one.
Yeah, love that idea. And then the third one, lastly, is Team Reenergize. They also earned an honorable mention for tackling a burning issue, both from an environmental and social standpoint, by aiming to democratize access to alternative energies and to enable anyone, including non-owners, to take agency over their own energy sourcing through a very creative idea of sort of a battery pack that you can take to a centralized place to sort of recharge and use it to power your home. So it's really liked how the Reenergize team demonstrated how to rethink a fundamental infrastructure-heavy service through a very inclusive lens that could be scaled broadly. So congratulations to Team Reenergize for your concept called SURF. Back to you.
Thank you, Billy, and thank you all three teams. And well done. I remember I was watching the jury discussion. I remember it was a huge discussion on all of you. But let's go to the bronze winner, the third winner. And for that, I would like to invite Simona, and because she will announce the third place winner. Simona.
Yeah, thanks. Indeed, I'm very delighted and honored to announce the third place winner for this year competition. The third place, the very well-deserved third place, go to Delhi. I go to Delhi Technological University, to the team for SAFA-E. Congratulations to all of you, SAFA-E. But before you are going for celebration, I would like to share with you the statement that the jury created to reward your concept. The jury found SAFA-E to be one of the most well-articulated and well-communicated concepts among various design submissions. SAFA described a clear design challenge and issue statement, grounded on a deep understanding of the local urban reality of India. And it proposed a smart way forward for problem solving by going across the Sustainable Development Goals 7, 9, 11, and 13. Although the idea of swapping battery for electrical rickshaw has been explored before by similar concepts, the design team excelled for the creation of a compelling narrative that links the experience journeys of the various stakeholders, and for a detailed business model anchored to an approach that creates shared value. The team describes in great detail how SAFA can boost local entrepreneurship while addressing a growing environmental problem, and how it can provide user benefits across all touch points. Great effort has been allocated by the team, both in the research phase and in the design process, which has delivered a very well-crafted prototype. Well done, SAFA team. Congratulations to all of you again. Namaste.
Congratulations. Let me go to the silver winner. And for that, I would like to invite Jon to explain who are the silver winners and why.
Thank you, Inge. And you must have heard by now that the quality of the entries was very high, and this gets more the case as we move towards the top three. And the winner of the second prize goes to the In Bloom team for their project Noce. Noce is a platform designed to support the economy and ecology of small-scale fishing in the Venice Lagoon. The jury was impressed by the way that Noce integrates social, economic, and ecological issues in a persuasive design service story. Socially, Noce places the voices and lived experience of fishers at the center of the story. Economically, an online fish-to-marketplace owned and run by a cooperative provides a feasible alternative to incumbent fish wholesaling channels. And ecologically, the expert close-up knowledge of the fishers themselves is valued as a key asset in tackling the stressed condition of the Venice Lagoon itself. And I know a bit about it. It's a very complex situation, and it's very clear that the team from the University of Siena in Bloom went deeply into it. They didn't try and disguise the complexities, And I'm very persuaded, and the jury was very persuaded, that they're a worthy winner of the second prize.
Thank you, Jon, and well done, team. Well done. Congratulations. Then now we're going for the first winner's announcement. And before that, I would like to explain you something, because we have two winners, two gold winners to announce. And they both win a different prize, and one will win a designer residence at IKEA, and the other one at Philips. And what we are going to do is start with Kiki, who will announce the gold winner, the first gold winner, I would say that, and she will explain why this team has won and has become the gold winner, and also a bit why the concept stood out if you look at the rest. So Kiki, I would like to invite you to mention the winner.
Yes, thank you, Inge. And now I'm on camera as well.
Yes, you are.
Yes. So I would really like to announce the first place winner, the gold winner in the STC spin-off. And that is Team 99 from Glasgow School of Arts. So congratulations, Team 99. And the motivation from us actually sounds like this. Throughout the Service Design Challenge, Team 99 has shown a strong understanding of human-centric approach, creating values that enable people to pass on and acquire used beddings, always keeping an open mindset to question the status quo, their own biases, and validating their proposition and feasibility with people. That made them advance in the validation of their solution. Amongst all jury members, they managed to capture the emotional and professional approach to focusing on circulating beddings and the quality of sleep. This exemplifies the system approach they took to the problem of saving more of the wasted beddings in Glasgow and potentially around the world. So congratulations, big congratulations, Team 99, for fantastic work.
Congratulations. And after the next gold winners, I would like to invite you to get to know the concept and the teams. So after Jon will announce the other gold winner, you will see both concepts, their video, the full video. So you get a really good understanding what the concept is all about. And then both will be interviewed by Kiki and Jon, and to explain a bit what they did, right? How did the research go? Why they selected this concept? So, but now we're going for the final gold winner, last but not least. So Jon will announce the gold winner.
So last but not least, the winner is Team Sage from Ontario College of Art and Design for their solution around the block. And I just will mention some of the topics that the jury found interesting, but the concept not only solves a very practical problem of seniors trying to get support for themselves and connecting it with people that can offer that need, but it also takes into account the cultural background of these people and connects that with other people that have the same cultural background, which the jury found very, very thoughtful. It's a concept that really understands the local ecosystem of the place, and it also takes into account not only the users themselves, but the community they live on. It's a challenge that the jury finds could scale not only in Canada, where the concept has been developed, but globally. And the solution itself takes a very human approach to solve the problem, finding a UX solution that also gives an answer to the specific needs that the users have. So congratulations, Team Sage. I'm really looking forward to welcome you in our home.
All right, thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Let us now share with you the concept, so the video of Nighty Night. And after that, immediately we will start an interview. So Kiki will, you will see the team on screen, get to know them, and Kiki will have an interview with them. So stay tuned.
I feel guilty for such a big waste, but I have to throw them away in the garbage room.
In 2021, there were more than 428,000 international students like him came to the UK. After their graduation, almost 220,000 sets of beddings will end up in landfills. Where is the future of beddings? How might we prevent international students' beddings from dying young in the UK? We proposed a future that the beddings can be kept in use as long as possible by more users. Through creating a reuse-based closed-loop value chain system that provides a flexible bedding service for students and third-party accommodation companies, covering shipping, returns, refurbishing, and eventually reselling. Today, the Scottish Government offers investment for SMEs and supports work that would deliver circular economy growth through the Circular Economy Business Support Service. As millennials, today's students are more open-minded and forward-thinking. Combined with the UK's long-established second-hand shop culture, they generally have a new understanding of the second-hand market and the ownership during study abroad.
But definitely because of there are more charity shops I can see on the street, these options are more available and accessible. So it changed my habit.
One should not repair what is not broken. Do not remanufacture what can be repaired. Do not recycle what can be remanufactured. For these second-hand beddings that have been used for less than a lifespan, cleaning and reselling is the way to maximize the value. However, the circulation rate is low because of the hygienic issues. But the opportunity still exists. According to her, more students keep used the beddings after quarantine compared to pre-pandemic. We wanted to utilize customers' perceptions in this temporary trial period to shift their minds about reused beddings through an emotional design and a person-centered concept. The pick and rule is a cognitive bias that impacts how people remember past events. On their first time arrival, most international students experienced a terrible night, either because they don't have their beddings with them, their biological clocks are disrupted, or they're uncomfortable with the unfamiliar surroundings. And when they're leaving the city, the disposal of beddings makes them struggle. So we targeted these 2 times as opportunities to amplify positive emotions. Based on this, we then take the economic, ethical, recreational, social, and sleep quality motivations of international students as a breakthrough to create value, thus promoting a behavioral change in the international students community. Student accommodation is expending a lot of labor and cost, including landfill tax, to deal with the bulky waste left behind. Thus, the circular supply chain can provide value to the student accommodation, while the facilities can be used for distribution and retrieve, acting as a blocker between service and the student. We want to work with local companies to achieve a more profitable and resource-efficient circular supply chain by optimizing delivery timeframe and reducing transport costs. With the goal of zero waste, Glasgow has a well-established refurbishing and recycling industry chain, which provides us a decentralized and collaborative solution to close the loop with reverse logistics. The new business model that we created will inspire a new lifestyle change in Gen Z attitudes through user experience, accessibility, and virtual community. With the support of existing local facilities, a reverse logistic-based system under the collaborative strategy can be applied to close the loop and maximize the value of the supply chain. We're imagining a future where students can conveniently get access to high-quality products at an affordable price. The beddings can have a higher use rate, and the overall resources of providing a good sleeping experience will be reduced. We offer a variety of service options, including individual services for students and bundled subscriptions for student accommodations. Here is Marta's story.
Hello, my name is Marta. When I first came to Glasgow, on the day I came, I was very tired of the long journey and everything. And when I went inside my room, I found a box near my bed. It was the bedding that I had purchased in advance. I opened the package and then made the bed. I was so exhausted and immediately took a nap. After I woke up, I found many gifts inside the box, such as tea for having a better sleep and sleeping tips, as well as a welcome card. As a foreigner student, I felt warmly welcomed by the city and this experience. Small things make the difference. When I was packing everything to go home, I realized I couldn't bring with me all the bedding. So then suddenly I realized, oh, we have this container in reception where we can put our bedding inside in exchange for a coupon for transport. So I actually used that coupon to go to the airport. And yeah, I was happy that the bedding was not wasted, not thrown to the bin, and I got something in exchange. It was exactly what I needed.
Through the partnership with Student Accommodation, international students can book services when they book their accommodation, which for us can also reduce the effect of the high fixed cost of storage. Sleeping quality is the focus. The system will recommend suitable beddings based on local weather and personal preferences. Once at the accommodation, users can enjoy clean beddings. International students can always book new bedding in case of a lack of comfort, a change of residence, or a need for additional beddings when friends visit. A virtual community is running for insomnia and hopes to help solve the problem by reducing stress through social and relevant information. During the graduation season, our convenient packing and recycling system makes it easy to retrieve the beddings. Scan the QR code on the recycling bag and upload it to the system to get the incentive attached to going back home related services, like the airport bus and courier. The retrieved beddings will be sent to a local recycling company for sorting. Beddings in good condition will be sent to a qualified laundry company. After cleaning and packing, they will be distributed to each student. We hope to reuse and remanufacture depreciated and end-of-life duvets through companies such as animal rescue, homeless shelters, and industrial and agriculture supply companies that produce recycled cotton. At the same time, we improve the brand image by harnessing charity's positive image. In the future, besides getting the beddings recycled, we hope to geographically expand the range of services and increase the number of service categories through behavior and mind changing to make reusing day to day and contribute to the zero waste goal.
Hello, team.
Hi. Um, hi.
Okay now?
Yeah.
It's still there.
Welcome,
Hi.
team. Welcome,
Yeah.
Kike.
Hi.
Yeah.
Kike, feel free to interview the team. I will be here, but it's all yours.
Yeah, and now the echo seems to be gone, or? Good. So congratulations, team. So this has been an exciting journey for us, and congratulations to you. You've done an amazing job. So I have a few questions for you. Now that we're through this and you're an announced winner, which you're well worth. So what was most exciting about this challenge?
Well, I'll answer this question.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we took first place, and that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And as for the most exciting part about the project, I would say that we have learned a lot of new things, I think. That we learned a lot from our tutors, and they're very responsible. And they help us a lot in the area that we are not familiar with, such as business and circular economy areas. And that helps us look the project outside of the student's perspective, I think. And also, I would say that we learned a lot from our participants, because as international students, it's not easy to look at this project without personal emotions, to be honest. And they help us a lot at this part. And sometimes I think they suggest new ideas that beyond our cultural background, because we're from the same place. And sometimes their actions inspired us. And I still remembered our culture probe research. It's a research about to motivate some students who are less accept to secondhand item to try to buying and using secondhand things. And it's very interesting to see how they're gradually changing their minds about secondhand items during that process. So I think these kind of ideas that came from different people helped us to make our project and make us possible to present it well in the end. So thanks for all of them, and thanks for the questions as well.
Thank you so much. So you would say that the biggest learning was actually what you got from throughout the whole project is what you got from the people you were working with.
Yes.
Yeah.
All from tutors and all the stakeholders and the participants we asking for help. I think they all helped us a lot. So it's very interesting to engaging with people.
Yeah, I think that's really what shows in and also why you stand here as the winner, because it's been very clear how you've been working your way through the final solution. Really, yeah, we're super impressed by that. And also, so what do you think? You have this fantastic now value proposition that you're offering us to actually make use of the bedding. So what do you think is the major strength of your service, your value proposition?
Thank you for the question. And I think the strength lies in the reuse-based closed-loop value chain system inspires a lifestyle change in a local international student community by creating values for different stakeholders in the process, and thereby pushes the beddings to run in a circle in Glasgow. And so to be more detailed, for students, they can get a high quality, convenient, and more flexible bedding service at a more affordable price, especially a more pleasant experience at their first night arrival and at the place. And they don't have to struggle with the bedding disposal after graduation, of course. And for the student accommodation, the labor and cost, including landfill tax, can be directly reduced. And for the business partners, the most importantly, the reverse logistics-based system under the localized collaborative strategy maximizes the value of the supply chain. And the service can reduce the returns and exchanges expense for the retailers, and also bringing increasing customer satisfaction and customer value, as well as a more eco-friendly brand image. And as for the larger context, the service promotes the just, fair, and inclusive circular textile system, which reduces pollution and raises public conscious about sustainability. And I think this is our major benefits.
Yeah.
The business model.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, we're super eager to follow this. And so what is your plans? Because you are graduating now, right?
Yes.
What are your plans now?
I think graduation for us is a new beginning. We are super excited about it, and of course, this service design challenge is so helpful for us to kickstart our careers. And as my teammates mentioned, we learn a lot from the process, and it gave us, and also the competition, it gave us a great opportunity to for an internship at IKEA, and we are very grateful for that. So come back to this question. In the future, we all intend to continue to work in service design, user research, or user experience design. In short term, we will keep learning from the industry or other designers, and then make our own portfolios, apply for jobs, and then get more experience from the industry. But we all know that there are too many uncertainties in the future. So yeah, we are not sure which company we are going to work for, but we are sure, and what we will keep in mind is that we are putting this teamwork experience, the design thinking, the critical thinking, all this we learned from the school and the competition to our future job. And I think this service design challenge has shaped our design values in a way. I personally appreciate the 6 assessment area of the competition a lot. And and my future design works will continue to focus on people, experience, and society, technology, planet, and business. And also we have great confidence in the 99 project according to these 6 areas, and hope to implement it in real life in the future. And yeah, these are some of our future plans, and they will be more, they will be clearer over time. And thanks for the question.
Thank you. Super exciting. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Chiche or?
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I want to share more about our team, what have our team learned. Yeah, and our team has shared what have learned before with each other, and here are the following that we want to share. Firstly, thanks to the Student Survey Design Challenge, our team has sufficient and solid stakeholder research, insight exploration, and idea iterations because of refined design framework and timeline. And we also applied circular economy design methodology. And during the local system exploration phase, we are based in Glasgow city, and we are trying to scale it up to the whole UK or more globally. And we contact a larger number of stakeholders and explore many potential stakeholders. And in terms of teamwork, we recognize the fruits of others, and we found the merits of each person's idea and integrated them. And in the final stage, we encourage each other to do their best within the limited time. And in the critical thinking, we consider the rationality of the idea from 6 areas, such as human-centered, tech-based, and social service-oriented perspective. Yeah, and that's all that I want to share with us.
Thank you so much. And let's keep in touch, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and the all challenge group.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much. And I remember what Chise said at the end, is that, and we hear that from the previous editions as well. So that working as a team is also a learning experience, right? How to make decisions, how to divide tasks, how to come up with a concept that is shared and shared by all of the members is very insightful. And it's something that some of the students have never had done before. And remember, sometimes it's even necessary to do it remotely, which sometimes makes it even harder. But let's go to the concept, the video concept of the other gold winner. So I'm inviting you to have a look and get a better understanding of the concept.
This is Hao. Hao is a 76-year-old senior who immigrated from Vietnam to Toronto with his family 20 years ago. Hao has been living in his neighborhood for over 10 years, but has not been able to connect with his neighbors past a polite hello due to language barriers. He has been struggling with arthritis, which makes it challenging for him to keep the house clean or make his favorite meals. Until recently, Hao's daughter Sharon helped with some of these tasks. She would come over every Thursday and prepare their favorite dish, bun bao hui. The spicy broth was warm and comforting and connected them back to shared memories of home. However, Sharon has recently had a baby and hasn't been able to visit as often. Hao is looking for someone to take on light housekeeping tasks, to prepare familiar meals, and who can speak with him in Vietnamese. It has been hard to find a support worker with these specific skills, and he doesn't quite know where to begin. This is Kim. Kim is a Vietnamese Canadian personal support worker in Toronto who recently left the agency she worked for. She feels that she provides excellent care, but unfortunately, the agency didn't provide a wage that reflected her skill set. Due to the vast distances between clients, she struggled with high transportation costs and irregular work hours, leading to burnout. These constraints negatively impact the quality of her service delivery. She desires to find clients in a localized area to build more consistency in her job and provide quality care and attention for seniors. Hi, we're Team SAGE, a group of industrial design students located in the Greater Toronto Area, which is also where Hao and Kim live. The GTA is Canada's largest and most diverse metropolitan area. The current model of care in Canada disproportionately allocates funding for senior care services. We currently spend about 87% of budgeted funds on long-term care homes, while only 13% go towards home-based care. And nearly 77% of Canadian seniors would prefer to age independently rather than in a long-term care facility. Since options for aging at home are under-resourced, gaps in government-funded services get filled by family members who shoulder the burden of medical care and day-to-day support. So with the rise of seniors who are aging in place, as well as a lack of family support, the demand for personal support workers has drastically increased. Although PSWs are currently in high demand, they struggle with wage instability as many of them are being paid just above minimum wage. On top of that, they are overloaded with work and irregular working hours due to the shortage in PSWs in Canada. Personal support workers are the backbone of our senior care. However, our current system does not prioritize their health and mental well-being. To explore this problem further, we deployed an online survey, conducted a cultural probe, and interviewed primary and professional stakeholders. The survey received over 41 responses from a diverse group of participants across the GTA. Cultural connectedness was a common theme, with food, language, and the continuity of tradition ranking as the most important. We also conducted a cultural probe, which followed 6 participants from multicultural households in the GTA, ranging from young adults to seniors. Over a week-long period, participants completed daily diary entries, photo prompts, and bingo cards, which prompted reflections on aging. We learned that joy and independence were derived from the little things in life, such as home-cooked meals and taking public transit. We also found that culture is deeply connected to friendship and community. We focused our professional stakeholder interviews around trying to understand challenges faced by PSWs. Transportation is a huge problem, as it's expensive for PSWs to travel around between jobs. Often they get booked for an hour per household, costing them time and money as they work with different clients. From our immigrant senior interviews, we found that a lot of them feel disconnected from their culture and feel they are in a sense of limbo between their home country and Canada. Language barriers especially have reduced their desire to socialize and try new activities. We synthesized some key themes in our research. a sense of purpose, independence and interdependence, human connection, technology as a tool, and cultural disconnection. Immigrant seniors like Hao and PSWs like Kim struggle with needs that are not being met by our current model of care. How might we equip multicultural seniors with the tools needed to age in place while maintaining their cultural identity and fostering community connection? This is Around the Block, an app-based platform that uses a peer-to-peer model to connect seniors and PSWs within Toronto neighborhoods through clustering and tailoring services to meet seniors' needs. Local networks are built through community center activities and events, which are made more accessible to seniors in the neighborhood. Through Around the Block, seniors will build a personal profile guided by an interactive bot that will help determine their unique care needs and social interests. The interactive onboarding process will evaluate 2 streams of services they will use. 1. Specific care needs at home that will be provided by a personal support worker, and 2. Interests that could become opportunities for neighborhood activities at their local community center. Building a network of needs and services to be met within a neighborhood will help personal support workers leverage time and distance to optimize their workflow efficiency. Through Around the Block, PSWs will be able to arrange their own work schedule, build a consistent weekly routine, and remove the burden of frequent transportation costs. Certain services like cooking meals and neighborhood walks could provide residents with the opportunity to build relationships with their neighbors. Through collaboration with community centers, we aim to connect seniors with existing hubs where they might participate in group activities and engagements. Providing community centers with information about the needs of the seniors around them will help them facilitate relevant activities that reflect the desires of their community. Now let's take Hao and Kim through our service. Hao learns about the Around the Block service through his daughter. He attends an information session hosted at his local community center with his daughter to learn more about the service and how to set up his profile. With the support of the onboarding ambassador, Hao creates his profile. Through the app, a guided assessment of his needs is conducted by a voice-enabled bot that optimizes the onboarding process via visual and auditory prompts. Hao highlights the mobility issues he struggles with due to his arthritis, as he's unable to perform everyday tasks such as housekeeping and cooking. He also indicates that he enjoys going on daily walks, playing card games, and eating meals he is familiar with. Once his profile and needs assessment has been completed, Hao sees several support services that match his criteria. He notices that there is a PSW in his area that is of Vietnamese background. Hao sends a request for general housekeeping and meal preparation. Kim, a personal support worker who has recently joined the program, gets notified of a service request in her area for the following week. She is providing care for another client about 2 blocks away that day, so she accepts the request as it fits perfectly into her schedule. After Kim is finished with her client, she walks over to Hao's house to perform some general house cleaning tasks. They get along well and make small talk in Vietnamese. Both of them decide that this is a good fit to carry on the relationship. The next day, Kim is notified of a client service match within the app. Hao and her other client John have both requested similar meal preferences. She prompts them with a request to share a meal together to save time in her commute and meal preparation. Since Hao has become more comfortable with Kim, he trusts that she has paired him up with someone whose company he may enjoy. Hao accepts this offer and agrees to host the meal at his home. The following week, Kim is at Hao's house preparing some bun bao hui. His neighbor John arrives at his house to share a meal with him. Hao recognizes him from his daily walks and is glad to see a familiar face. John and Hao sit down and enjoy the delicious bowl of bun bao hui. While the language barrier between them still exists, their fondness for the food sparks a non-verbal connection, breaking down social and cultural barriers. Later that week, Hao checks his Around the Block app and sees an event at his local community center. They are hosting a card game and tea night, which piques his interest. He gives John a call and asks if he would like to join him. John is excited that Hao reached out to hang out and happily accepts. Hao and John enjoy some tea along with a fun game of 13, a Vietnamese card game Hao used to play growing up. Making new friends is intimidating for all age groups. However, for seniors like Hao, who are struggling with cultural isolation and a decline in health, a familiar introduction to neighborhood programs and activities is integral to connecting them with their community. Around the Block provides the stepping stone to shape chosen families amongst neighborhoods that struggle to piece together the opportunities for community connections. With family as a big tie in cultural connectivity and care services, we believe seniors can tap into their local networks to uncover meaningful relationships. This allows seniors like Hao the ability to enjoy all things a home should encompass, to comfortably age in place and feel a sense of belonging within a community.
Hello, team. We like this concept very much, and I would like to invite Jon Rodríguez, Director of Service Design for Philips, to get to know you a bit more better. Jon?
Indeed, we like the concept a lot. I will start with a question, but the first one is really how did you get into this problem space? So how did you get there?
Yeah, so I think from the outset, we were really interested in tackling a pressing local issue. And so we were thinking about, what makes Toronto unique. And of course, Toronto is a very multicultural and diverse city, but like many places, it's also an aging city. So the proportion of people over 65 is increasing. And I think the experience of aging was also very top of mind for us because the pandemic was particularly devastating for our senior community. And so I think we were sort of all naturally drawn to this issue because of these recent events. And so we sort of started looking into, okay, what does it look like to age in Toronto? And, we found a lot of challenges in terms of support for seniors, and especially for seniors who might need culturally specific care or who face language barriers. And, we talk about it in the video, but I think we also have a system that's set up for, very much set up for supporting institutional care, which is obviously at odds with the way a lot of seniors want to age. So that's sort of how we came to our general idea of designing for seniors. And then in terms of, I guess, narrowing down into the problem space, I think this really happened for us in round 2 when we started to talk to and have conversations with our stakeholders. So, we spoke to, we had a lot of great conversations with caregivers who are caring for aging parents. And also we spoke to stakeholders in the PSW field and people working in the government. And so, I think through these conversations, we really identified a very specific service gap in terms of, for seniors who wish to age at home, but especially for seniors who maybe face language or cultural barriers. And we found that there was also a huge need for transparency and data in terms of what the senior population needs versus what skill sets are out there. And so, I think it was through those conversations that we were able to, develop an opportunity or see an opportunity to design specifically for those who wanted to age in place by creating, facilitating connection and by building community.
Thank you. You mentioned you did a lot of conversations. Can you just share a little bit some of the key insights that you found on this?
Sure. Do one of my colleagues want to take that one, or?
You're muted there, Dan, or something. No. So one of us take it then, I suppose. Dan, unless you can. Okay.
I can ask another question, no worries. But you also mentioned in the movie actually about some of the research tools that you use. But can you, given that you are not the target group yourself, can you share a little bit what did you do to actually empathize with the target group?
Yep, I can jump in here. Thanks, Jon, for your question. When first exploring the topic of aging, a lot of us young adults are often confronted with feelings of fear and uncertainty. And living in Toronto, hustle culture and individualism are heavily celebrated and encouraged. And for the most part, old age feels quite distant in our minds as we focus on near future aspects of life like career growth and relationships. Young adults are often occupied with navigating their own lives, that the exclusion and lack of consideration towards the older population becomes an unfortunate reality. And throughout our research process, we were tasked to reflect on our own perceptions and expectations of aging. For both our team and participants involved in the project, this was an emotional and challenging thing to do. Things such as health, finance, family, and culture were sensitive areas of discussion. And we set out to understand not only the senior population, but various preceding age groups as well. By conducting research, we were able to look at unique child-parent relationship dynamics, caregivers, and older adults. And simply listening and allowing our participants to share their stories was the most important part of this project for us. By giving them the stage to speak their minds regarding their aspirations, challenges, and experiences, we could really empathize with real and unique perspectives rather than perceived ideas or assumptions we might have had at the beginning of the project. And we're excited to expand our knowledge and further empathize with the elderly population as we move forward with our project through co-creation and some validation methods.
Thank you, Seth. And maybe now zooming out a little bit on the challenge itself, but what did you learn during the challenge that maybe you didn't know before, or what things that have you gained from the challenge beyond the school?
I can hop in here. Thanks for your question, John. I think that's a bit of a tough one to pin down because we learned so much throughout the whole competition. I think one of our favorite learning moments of the challenge was definitely engaging with our stakeholders in the research phase, deploying various forms of research message from interviews, surveys, and cultural probes to tackle different stakeholders in our problem scope was both super challenging, but also a lot of fun. And even like cold calling and connecting with professional stakeholders was something that we haven't really had too much experience in our projects at school. So doing so in this competition gave our research a lot more nuance and validation, which made our project feel very real. It also allowed us to network with industry professionals as it gave us lots of great valuable insights on senior care in the Greater Toronto area. And that's like on top of the great mentors that the competition provided for us. Our challenge coach, Frank, and our IBM coach, Amanda, they constantly challenged us in ways that made our service more feasible and also narratively compelling. So our final concept truly felt like a collaborative effort with all the mentors that we made along the way. Another element that really made an impact on our experience was also the amount of time that we were able to devote within each step of the design process, which for sure is something that we're taught in school. However, the depth in which we dived into each phase really motivated us to bring the project to life in a way that we wouldn't normally in a classroom setting. Dedicating 5 months to research, ideation, problem framing, problem reframing, etc., really allowed us to trust the process and made us feel reassured that we would eventually arrive at the right solution. And finally, another really valuable skill we developed was how to build a compelling narrative around our service concept. I think in our formal design education, we're accustomed to learning a lot more about the technical aspects and the steps of building a product or a service. But I think with the deliverables and writing a script and creating a video for each phase of the competition constantly challenged us to find new and creative ways to communicate our process and deliver our insights in a more engaging way. So this overall really motivated us to enhance our storytelling skills, which will certainly benefit us in our professional careers after school.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Maybe I just want to go back to the question I asked before, and you articulated a little bit about how you create this insight. But maybe I understand Dan is back in the party. So can you maybe mention some of those insights that you gained, Dan?
Yeah, I just want to check if my mic is working this time around.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just saying that, our research was very thorough and allowed us to explore the unique experiences of seniors, of their relatives, and personal support workers. So we were glad to have an abundance of valuable insights and perspectives. What we found most compelling were the tensions faced by different stakeholders within the existing senior care system. These included generational differences between seniors and their children, cultural disparity, and specifically language barriers that immigrant seniors often struggle to overcome. And despite society's constant praise of wisdom and experience, many seniors felt they were losing a sense of purpose. So these kinds of challenges really shone a light on the disconnect that often exists in one's experience of aging and relates closely to the quality of care that seniors receive. I think the most important insight for us was seeing how family and community are deeply connected to our cultural experiences, and in particular, our ideas of aging. That kind of connection was a key value in the development of our service. And we really hope this project outcome will encourage others to see it as a pillar in senior care and service design at large.
Thanks a lot, Dan. I have a last question, and I haven't heard Alex talk. So, Alex, what made these challenges special? Can you share something about your experience the last 5 months?
Yeah, totally. Well, many things, and some of them I think have already been mentioned by my peers. But like Scott said, I think the first thing I wanted to mention was that the duration of this challenge was one thing that was very special for us compared to the timelines we're used to with most school projects. We had more of an opportunity to dive into each step of the service design process and also really invest in our problem space. The challenge was also incredibly well planned and structured, and I think that was very unique, kind of. So not only did we have time, but we also were provided with a framework in a series of stages, each with valuable lectures, resources, and specific tasks that really supported our project development and also our growth as designers, I think. So we learned a lot personally, and it helped our project development. When we were reflecting on this experience as a team, another really special aspect that we all, I think, shared and mentioned was the mentorship we received. And this has already been mentioned, but I'll mention it again because it was quite significant for us. It was a unique opportunity to be coached by a team of professionals who were each able to offer very valuable perspectives on our work in progress. But not only that, what really stood out to us was their genuine interest in our work and our personal development. So they were like as invested, it felt like, in what we were doing as we were. And that was, I think, really special about this challenge. And it made the experience feel very personal and very inspiring, to be honest. And maybe the last thing I'll add is that the themes of this challenge and the chance to tackle a really pressing social, local issue was very special for us. It was fulfilling to explore something that was very unique to Toronto and to design a service that, if built, could actually make a really big difference and a big impact, both socially, but also in terms of sustainability. And that's something we didn't mention so much yet, so I'll throw that in there, that through the idea of clustering and building community, and this was talked about by the jury, there's an opportunity to build a more sustainable society by establishing or solidifying the social fabrics within community. And seniors could be a wonderful place to start with that. So yeah, thank you so much, John.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, team. I'm really looking forward to welcome you in the design in residence in Philips. You mentioned how much you appreciated the mentorship you received, and I hope we can continue that with our designers in Philips. And I really look forward to continue articulating your idea and pushing it further. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Team Sage and Team 99 and all winners. Congratulations. And it's good to hear that you learned a lot, but of course, we also learned a lot from you. Thank you for that. It's time to say goodbye. I want to say a few things. The concepts will be online, presented online. They will also be presented during the Dutch Design Week, which is in October in Eindhoven, in the Netherlands. And so keep an eye on our website, on LinkedIn, to dive into to dive deeper into the concept and the teams, get to know the teams. We will continue with the 4th edition, and around the Dutch Design Week, so I say in October, we will announce the new theme, because every edition has a new theme, and we also will open the registration for teams, student teams, who want to join for the next edition. I guess it's time to say goodbye, Isabel. We will continue with the Barcelona Design Week, and we still have a few days to go. And so I hope to see you soon, and perhaps here in Barcelona.
Yeah, well, I have only to say congratulations also to all the teams. It was amazing projects, and well, thank you for having this event again at the Barcelona Design Week, and we look forward next year. Barcelona Design Week 2023.
Absolutely.
Has the 3rd edition.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. Keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.